Kai, come here.
Hi.
Boom. 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 Check. 1, 2. Testing. 1, 2, 3. There might be a little bit of lag, but we're going to give it a second just so that it can catch up. All right, this should be fine. Hey guys, how you doing? My name is D'Lo, and I'm here to talk about Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So this is going to be a big one, right? So, and I mean big in the sense of, yes, it's Godzilla. Yes, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to make Universal pay for it. No, it's not. It's Warner Brothers. So Warner Brothers is Monster Universe, and I'm not talking about like small scale monsters. I'm talking about big monsters, giant kaiju films. They started with Godzilla back in 2014. Then they did Kong Skull Island, and now they're talking about Godzilla, King of the Monsters, which will lead into Godzilla versus King Kong or Godzilla versus Kong. This is going to be amazing, and it's going to be huge, both literally and figuratively, and probably financially. This is going to be awesome. So May 31st, 2019 is the release date for Godzilla, King of the Monsters. But there's something really special that's probably going to take place. Now, this is confirmation in part, but I'm going to talk about what those confirmations could mean for this franchise. So as some of you guys know, Marvel and Star Wars have opted to not do their Hall H event at San Diego Comic-Con. They're not occupying the biggest of the big rooms, the biggest spaces, the most on the schedule. They're not occupying those spots this year, and we are not completely sure why. There's probably a lot in the air as far as what they want to do if Disney is able to acquire Fox, or if Comcast gets that, what's that going to look like for them? And then as far as Star Wars, the whole like Lucasfilm in kind of disarray right now, whether or not they're going to fire Kathleen Kennedy. Kathleen Kennedy not want to stay in the spotlight. She's not giving any press junkets. She's staying out of the screen right now, off camera, off the record. There's nothing being said, nothing being done or talked about. And this actually ends up being a very good thing for Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers, who is not associated with them, is doing their own cinematic universes, both in the DC Comics aspect of their cinematic universe, which is having some difficulty right now and some struggles. They've gone through some sorry, my daughter's playing with the blinds. It's going through some struggle right now with like trying to get some good coverage, get some good films out, get some good press. It's been tough for them, but Walter Mott is taking over. And I think that's going to be great. Now, that being said, DC has a shared universe that they're trying to get off the ground, and it's kind of working a little bit. And I think it's going to do very well in the near future because of the shakeups, putting Jeff Johns back in the creative seat. Now, they're also running other film universes, okay? So they're also running, say, like the Monster universe, like what was it? The Conjuring. Or, I'm sorry, no. What am I talking about? No, that's not what it was. Give me 1 second. Let me get my thoughts together. I'm not even on today. What's going on? This is ridiculous. Yeah, so they have yeah, I was right. I was right about the Conjuring. It's the Conjuring franchise, Monster Universe, and the DC Extended Universe. Now, when I say the Monster Universe, I'm talking about Godzilla, King Kong, Rodan, Mothra, all that stuff. They have plans for. They have plans for King Ghidorah. They have plans for Mothra. They have all these different monsters they want to bring to life, and this is awesome. I mean, I'm a huge fan of kaiju films. I love all the giant robots and monsters. I'm talking Power Rangers, talking Transformers, talking about Pacific Rim. You know, like you can Voltron. You can talk about any of these different things. But also Godzilla. We're talking about Godzilla. I'm a huge fan of the old cheesy ones that went back when it was just, you know, a couple guys on set. They did it. You know, they were pioneering the whole giant monster franchise back in Japan. And so it's corny, it's cheesy, you know, it's fake, but it's so good. Just the fantasy of it all, the storytelling of it all. And they didn't stop either. Like, it's not like everyone was like, oh, this is a wonderful, awesome film. It's just, this is a great idea. This is a great fantasy. This is a great way to turn some of the darker moments of, okay, Japan just got nuclear bombed and, you know, people are devastated and depressed, but how can we turn this around? And they took the idea of the radiation fallout, creating this gigantic monster who is not just there to terrorize, but he's there to protect the people. And it was this really cool story. This all being said, Hall H is available. WB is going to capitalize on this. They're going to put out as much press as they can for hopefully Aquaman, for hopefully Shazam, Wonder Woman 2. Probably if they, I don't know what their plans are right now, up in the air. They haven't said a whole lot about the Flashpoint film, but they're probably going to make some mention there. Probably something about the standalone Batman film, maybe something in relation to the Joker films they have in motion, they haven't planned, with Jared Leto, also with Joaquin Phoenix. There's different Joker films in the project now. There's also their Godzilla franchise. They're going to do some stuff with the Conjuring franchise, I'm sure, but frankly, I don't care. You guys might care. Let me know if there's something that I ought to see. Maybe it's super awesome and I'm totally missing out. Let me know down in the comments if there's something you want me to see. Maybe I can talk about that in the future, because I like things like The Crow. You know, I like things that are a little bit darker. I'm not a huge horror fan. I've never been a huge horror fan, but I love the monster films. So like big monsters, Godzilla and stuff like that. So Godzilla King of the Monsters will be a sequel to the Godzilla film that was in 2014. Kong Skull Island was technically a prequel that goes before that, and Godzilla King of the Monsters is going to be right after. So it's the third film in production. It's also the third film linearly. So it technically goes Kong Skull Island, Godzilla, and then Godzilla King of the Monsters. We're waiting for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and then shortly after that, we're going to get Godzilla versus Kong. This is going to be tight, guys. It's going to be so cool. Let me just give you a quick overview. So this is a article from ScreenRant. All right, let me read this for you. Godzilla King of the Monsters confirmed for San Diego Comic-Con 2018. It says here, Godzilla King of the Monsters is headed to this month's International Comic-Con in San Diego. According to the director, Michael Dougherty, which is my wife's maiden name, by the way, Dougherty. King of the Monsters is the sequel to 2014 Godzilla film reboot directed by Gareth Edwards, as well as the third installment in Warner Bros. MonsterVerse cinematic universe after that film, and last year's Kong Skull Island. Plans are already in motion to bring the Godzilla and Kong sub-franchises together in 2020, with the appropriately titled crossover Godzilla vs. Kong. It's gonna be so cool. It's gonna be so freaking epic. I want the pops, by the way. I want the Kong Skull Island pop where he's holding the helicopter, and I also want the Godzilla pop. They just came out with one with white eyes. I really like that. I like that. It's reminiscent of, I think it was the 80s the 80s Godzilla, which was really cool. I like that one. And then it says from Your Next and Death Note. So Your Next and Death Note filmmaker Adam Wingard, the guy who made both of those. Now, Dougherty, like Wingard, comes from a background of horror filmmaking, see Trick or Treat or Krampus, and is pitting Godzilla against some equally larger-than-life opponents with his sequel, Mothra, Rodan, and King Ghidorah, some of the biggest names in the monster universe history. A personal favorite of mine is actually Rodan. I really love Rodan. I don't know what it is about some giant pterodactyl-looking creature. I just love it. I love that character. And then him coming out of like the volcano too, super tight. Yeah. So then it says, to be exact, save for the Monarch scientists played by Ken Watanabe and Sally Hawkins in Edwards' reboot, King of the Monsters features an entirely new cast of humans for Godzilla and his monster pals to terrorize. The crew includes Vera Farmiga from The Conjuring, Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things. I know a lot of you guys love Stranger Things. I haven't seen it yet. My wife's seen it. She loves it. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. I work for a living, so my wife does too. She's a stay-at-home mom, so she has the opportunity to work while watching Netflix sometimes, not all the time. And O'Shea Jackson Jr., I hope I said that right, but he's from Straight Outta Compton, and then also Kyle Chandler from Bloodline, and Charles Dance from Game of Thrones. This is an entirely new cast. I think it's appropriate because if it was the same group of people they're following every single time, I would probably hate it. And here's why. Transformers made that mistake as well. I know that in the comics, a lot of the time the Transformers would kind of latch to like one or two individuals and you'd have recurring characters, which is fine. But in the movies, they focus so heavily on the humans that it didn't feel appropriate for a Transformers film. The first Transformers was fine. They had Sam Witwicky and they were introducing the characters and it was getting launched off. That was great. But from there, it should have really gone hardcore into we're focusing on the Transformers themselves, instead of this is the human struggle and this is how they're feeling in a world where the Transformers exist. I don't want that. I want 80 to 90% Transformers, tell the story from the Transformers perspective, tell it, like as if they are the main characters, and the humans are just these side characters that are just there to exist in the world. And they're like that collateral damage they're trying to avoid. They're trying to like help save the universe from destruction, but then also there's these humans and they kind of like them and they've kind of grown attached to these people and they're annoying and the military gets in the way, but then they also they fight to kind of preserve them too, because life matters. And so that would be cool. I'm glad now all of that, my rant on Transformers and stuff, that's just a momentary thing. But here in the Godzilla universe, every movie, it's like a different group of people. And even though they've gotten some good actors to play these characters that were in the Godzilla reboot, they were in Kong Skull Island. I've liked a lot of the actors they've chosen for these films, and then good actors for this next one as well. They're changing it because there's billions, there's billions of people on the earth, and why would only a select few of them be the ones afflicted by these giant monsters? Unless you're trying to tell the story from a specific group of people's perspective, which I think is stupid. Don't do that. It's about the monsters. The monsters are the main characters. Every monster film should have a different region, different group of people that they're being afflicted. Do that. I like where they're going with this. I love this idea. And they're getting an opportunity to get these characters some more screen time. Like Millie Bobby Brown is a young actress, and she's doing a good job on Stranger Things. People love her. Now she's going to get some more screen time in the monster universe. This is epic. She'll have some good chance to do that, and so I'm really excited. All this being cited, all this being read and said, I love it. Let's hope that WB takes advantage of Hall H, and they are in fact going to be there. But let's hope we get some sort of a teaser or a trailer at San Diego Comic-Con. And I'll make sure to make a video about that, or maybe even a reaction video if I can figure out the technology, because I'm new at this. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been another episode of The Stuff of Legend, talking about monsters in the monster universe. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave any questions or comments down in the comment section below, and I will respond. I always respond to those. So thank you guys. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend. Roar!